Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Cathy McGrath, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. And today's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is for Friday, October 10th, 2025. And on the front page, Neepawa family beyond grateful. Logan's Walk for Down Syndrome raises just over $6,000 by Casper Warehan, and pictured Logan Cox and Holly Pancratz pictured together at the Accessible Playground on October 6th for the donation presentation. The results are in for the 6th annual edition of Logan's Walk for Down Syndrome Awareness, formerly known as Walk With Us campaign. Logan's Walk was attended by approximately 85 people on September 21st. This mass of individuals gathered just outside of Neepawa at the Langford Walking Trails, where they not only enjoyed the great outdoors, but also raised a total of $6,060. These funds will benefit Touchwood Park's accessible playground, which is open for all to use. Touchwood Park is very appreciative of the donation to this playground and the continued community support, said Holly Pancratz, Touchwood's Assistant Executive Director. Thank you to Logan and his family for choosing Touchwood Park as the recipient for the 6th annual Logan's Walk. In the past 6 years, between fundraising for the Manitoba Down Syndrome Society and Touchwood Park, Logan's Walk has raised a whopping $22,952. That number is pretty incredible, said Brandy Cox, event co-organizer and mother of Logan Cox. Brandy added, whether you walked with us, donated, or volunteered your time to help with the barbecue, your support not only raises funds, but also awareness and love for individuals with Down syndrome and, of course, our Logan. Providing a final comment, Brandy expressed gratitude on behalf of her family, stating, we are beyond grateful for our amazing community. Thank you for walking with us year after year. And A Taste of Home Far From Home by Owen Devereaux. And pictured above far right, Catherine Vagos on left welcomes everyone to the grand opening of Vagos Pinoy restaurant in Neepawa at 336 Mountain. This is by Owen Devereaux. The vibrance of Filipino cuisine is finding a home in Neepawa. On Friday, October 3rd, Vagos Pinoy restaurant celebrated its grand opening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony at 336 Mountain Avenue. Vagos is the 6th Filipino-owned and operated business and 2nd cultural eatery to officially establish itself within the community. The latest commercial venture is led by Catherine Vagos, who also operates Vagos Kitchenette in Gladstone. Vagos said the path to get to this latest business opportunity has been a long and at times difficult journey. But she adds that seeing the reaction from the town and its people on opening day makes the effort feel worth it. When I arrived in Neepawa in 2014, I told my husband that Neepawa is a progressing town and I'd like this place. We known here and there was something here, and if we worked hard, we could make something here to be proud of, noted Vagos. It's taken a lot of time and effort to get to this day. We worked really hard, and my husband and I, we saved our money. We bought this location in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and it took time. It took longer than we would have hoped, but we had this dream. So, to be here today, I am very happy. We are open and operating now, finally, and I'm really happy having waited for this moment. The Vagos Pinoy restaurant features a mix of 10 full and part-time employees and will offer a traditional sit-down restaurant experience. It will also include a buffet and catering services. It's another business welcome in Neepawa. And right in the center by Ken Waddell, giving thanks always. The following Bible verse pretty much sums up the holiday we are about to celebrate, Thanksgiving Day. Thessalonians 5:18, New International Version, says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." As long as I can remember, Thanksgiving Day has been a very special day for me. Let me count the ways this season has been elevated in my mind and heart. My father, who was born October 10th, 1907, so our family always had reason to celebrate that day. Dad said it was almost always a nice day on his birthday, and he was right with the odd exception. His birthday was always around Thanksgiving, and that was nice too, as sometimes we would have a day off school for his birthday. Dad was a school bus driver, so on school holidays he got a holiday too, except for all the work on the farm. And most Thanksgivings, Dad's brother and sister-in-law, our much-loved Uncle Jim and Aunt Vi, would travel from Winnipeg to the farm at Holland, Manitoba for Thanksgiving, often staying overnight. That time of year usually meant that the rugged days of harvest were coming to a close, and work on winter preparation projects saw increased activities. And, of course, there were large Thanksgiving dinners. Mum was a pretty good cook. I say all this to set the scene that Thanksgiving was pretty much a good deal around our farm home. October 11th is our wedding anniversary. Christine and I have been married 56 years. For all those years and all our family and business experiences, I am thankful. Christine's return to good health has been the number one blessing for this year. But giving thanks in the manner outlined in the Bible verse above isn't always as easy as my early childhood years experienced. There are many times of drought, war, death, and destruction that try a person's ability or even willingness to give thanks. But even in tough times, it's important to give thanks, to offer thanks to God, to family, to our friends and neighbors, and to our country for sustaining us through the tough times. The hymn, "Count Your Blessings," says it's better than I can. It was composed by Johnson Oatman Jr. in 1897. When upon life's bellows you are tempest-tossed, when you are discouraged, thinking all is lost, count your many blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one. Count your blessings, see what God hath done. Count your blessings, name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord hath done. Are you ever burdened with a load of care? Does the cross seem heavy you are called to bear? Count your many blessings, every doubt will fly, and you will be singing as the days go by. When you look at others with their lands and gold, think that Christ has promised you his wealth untold. Count your many blessings, money cannot buy. Your reward in heaven, not your Lord on high. So amid the conflict, whether great or small, do not be discouraged, God is over all. Count your many blessings, angels will attend. Help and comfort give you to your journey's end. So whether you are living in an abundance of blessings or if times are really tough, hopefully the words I placed from the Bible or my little bit of experience and the song's words will float you higher today. May God bless you and yours. And there's a disclaimer that the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as being the view of the newspaper staff. And Home Buddies by Rita Friesen. How pleasant it is when brothers live in harmony. There is a copse, stand-alone clump of trees, a term Ellen Montgomery was very fond of, that causes me to pause and marvel every season of the year. The cluster is at the very edge of town, alongside a road that Ari and I regularly stroll. This fall, the changing of their garb has simply fascinated me. This little grouping is a most unlikely family. It's fairly certain that the trees have been planted, considering the variety is a relative small space. The tallest at this point is the cottonwood. How I love the tall one, golden leaves twisting in the breeze, the hue so dramatic against the autumn skies. Beside it is an evergreen, with ordinary variety that rests the eyes all winter long, a gentle spot, so constant color no matter the background palette. Cuddling in close is a tamarack, not a true evergreen, for its needles turn golden brown and drop, known as a deciduous conifer, for it is a cone bearer. Within the copse there is a Colorado blue spruce and a Scots pine. Completing the family grouping are sturdy black poplars with a host of little cousins, the Caragana family, moving into empty corners. The one dramatic silver tree may be silver willow or a Siberian elm. I haven't crossed the ditches to check. So there, clustered and sheltering one another, are golds and greens, silver and browns, all in harmony, all fulfilling their destiny. Psalm 133:1. How good and pleasant it is when brothers live together in unity. The exclamation point is there, not something I added, for I am prone to using them. So I stop and watch these trees. They are totally unaware and unaffected by my viewing. They, each in their own way, continue to be exactly what they are designed to be. No one sways away from the tamarack, not fully pine, not fully evergreen, a deciduous conifer of the family of unique. The tallest evergreen doesn't appear to be afraid of the old cottonwood, respectively spreading its branches, honoring the space required by the old shade bearer. One tree drops all its leaves, another one none of its needles. Some of the trees are native to the area, others are blatant imports. Not one of them care. Birds nest in their branches, rabbits nestle in the long grasses beneath the sheltering arms, and if I cared to go into their space, I would find ants and bugs, perhaps slugs and grasshoppers. All are welcome in this space. Watching my world, this world, I long for this beautiful life-giving unity, where there is no need to demean or belittle, no need for greed or unkindness, no need for anyone to do without. In the background, I hear Louis Armstrong's growling out, "It's a wonderful world." And it is truly is, for me, is a constant awareness of the goodness and beauty of all creation around me that even allows me the courage to hope for equality, justice, and mercy for all. May it be so. And Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine. What Defines Us? Part 2. As they returned to Jerusalem after 70 years in exile, the ancient Israelites were greeted by a pile of rocks. That was all that was left of Solomon's temple. It had been destroyed when the Babylonians conquered what was left of David's kingdom. The Babylonians had set fire to everything in Jerusalem that would burn, leaving behind piles of ashes and stone walls stained with soot. Some walls were left standing, but Solomon's temple was completely dismantled. Piles of soot-covered rocks were all that remained of its once glorious, beautifully quarried walls. But this was a new day. A new generation had come out of exile. In their hands they held a decree, signed and sealed by King Cyrus of Persia, giving them permission to rebuild their temple, their religion, their city, their homes, their farms, their businesses, and their lives, and honor a special request to pray to their God for the king's health. But to rebuild, they needed materials, and the only materials they had were a pile of rocks, now weathered and eroded after 70 years of being battered by wind-blown desert sand. It wasn't much, but it was enough, as they would quickly discover. They got out their tools and began to build. Little by little, they built the foundation, the walls, the roof, and finally the inner rooms, furnished with items that had been taken to Babylon, kept there, and were being returned to their rightful place in a rebuilt temple. As they prepared to offer their first sacrifices, the ancient Israelites were overwhelmed by guilt and shame. God had brought them home from exile, and this was how they had thanked him, by building something of which none of them could be proud, and setting it apart as a house of worship dedicated to their God. But their shame would not last forever. God's message to them contained praise and a promise. Praise because they had obeyed his call, given through King Cyrus, to return to Jerusalem and rebuild the temple, and a promise that the glory of this temple, plain though it appeared, would be greater than that of Solomon's temple. What made the difference? True, the building had cracks in the walls, saw marks and slivers on the wooden beams, but when God's glory descended on that place, the beams from that ball of light hovering over the mercy seat, the lid on the Ark of the Covenant, would shine through their cracks and create a beauty and brilliance that nothing would match. This new temple would be beautiful because God was in it. There were two things for which we will be remembered after we die. The first is what we became, how we allowed life's experiences to change our lives, so that our thoughts, words, and actions would glorify God instead of exalting ourselves. The second thing is illustrated in his story. We will be remembered for what we've built, how we responded to tragedy, hurt, betrayal, and disappointment, how, with God's help, we were able to recover from the tragic experiences of our past and build lives, homes, and families that became living testimonies to God's mercy and grace. True, we will always carry some scars from our past failures. Some wounds will never heal fully, but with God leading us and His Spirit energizing what we do, we can put the past behind us, and the latter chapters of our lives can be filled with stories of God's mercy and grace in action. Believe this. Receive this. Thanks be to God. And coming after all of that, the Market Report by Blaine Houston. It was another hot sale. We sold 1,032 head of cattle through the ring in Gladstone Monday yesterday. We didn't have any butcher cattle at this sale. Note, butcher cattle were scheduled to be sold this Friday, October 10th. Here are some market highlights from yesterday's sale. 12 718-pound red exotic steer calves bring $5.84 a pound, $4,193 a head. 16 black steer calves came in the ring weighing 636 pounds and cash in at $6.2959 a pound, $4,003 per head. 442-pound black exotic steer calves stamped their ticket at $8.125 a pound, $3,591 a head. On the heifer side of things, 7 black heifer calves weighing 609 pounds bring $6.01 per pound, $3,660 per head. 11 black and red heifers weighing 511 pounds and fetch $6.70 per pound, or $3,424 per head. 6 red and black heifer calves weighing 446 pounds bring $713 a pound, or $3,180 a head. And we have some thumbs up and thumbs down today. Thumbs up from Marilee Vosper of Plumas. Thank you to the gentleman and his 2 young sons that notified me of my flat tire and then changed it for me on the side of Highway 16 on Saturday morning. I regret not getting your name and address so I could send a proper thank you, but I appreciate it so very much. Again, thank you from Marilee Vesper. And a thumbs up following post-operative care in Brandon and Neepawa hospitals. Thank you to the staff in Brandon, Jordan, Linda, Megan, Holly, Carmela, and Dr. Clark, and in Neepawa, Beverly, Bryn, Kira, Jamie, Sabrina, Angela, Chelsea, and Dr. Bellinger from John Drinkwater of Neepawa. And a thumbs up. Thank you for the drivers in Neepawa that stopped to see if I was okay. I think the driver was shook up more than I was, by John McCurry of Plymouth. And we have some letters to the editor this week. First from Brad Mummery of Neepawa. Where's the Truth Global News? On Monday, September 29th edition of Global News, in the spirit of truth and reconciliation, ran a segment entitled, A Manitoba Inmate Speaks Out About His Path from Child Welfare to Prison. You can watch it on YouTube if you missed it. So is it really the truth if you leave out a big part of what's going on? After watching the video and looking at most of the comments afterward, I must congratulate Global News on manipulating the narrative to get people to feel sorry for the individual that was interviewed. So here is the part they left out. On May 5th, 2025, only 5 months ago, this vicious, cowardly monster stabbed a corrections officer in the back at the Brandon Correctional Facility. You can look that up as well. If you want to be part of Truth and Reconciliation Global News, don't leave out truth. Please don't build up a dangerous criminal who is obviously manipulative and unremorseful about what he has done. A lot of us have had hard times, and we don't try to kill people because of that. And what about the Justice Department? What were they thinking to allow such a dangerous, violent offender to go on an interview like this when he has serious charges pending? Were they trying to let him off lightly? This seems to be the thing lately. Let's feel sorry for the poor criminal. What about the correction officer, my son, who put his life on the line daily? What about other law enforcement officers? Is this where our society has gotten to? Protect, feel sorry for hardened criminals, and just forget about those who uphold the law? Shame on Global News and Manitoba Justice. May the truth of karmic law make you aware of your transgressions. Again from Brad Mummery of Neepawa. And another letter. Thanks, Dan, for trying to share some common sense. As someone who calls rural Manitoba home, I want to take a moment to recognize the strong and steady work our Member of Parliament, Dan Mazur, has been doing on the House of Commons Health Committee. He's been a clear and persistent voice for communities like ours, especially when it comes to addressing the fentanyl crisis and the government's so-called safe supply programs that are hurting families in communities such as Swan River and across Westman. While Ottawa debates abstract policies, we're living the reality of addictions and overdose right here at home. Swan River Mayor Lance Jacobson recently noted that more than 500,000 needles were handed out over the past year in a town of only 4,000 people and the surrounding area. Those numbers should shock everyone. The drug and fentanyl crisis isn't limited to big cities like Winnipeg or Ottawa. It's hitting our small towns hard. With rising drug use has come more crime, fear, and heartbreak in our once safe and close-knit communities. Dan Mazur has spoken in the House of Commons dozens of times to highlight these challenges and share the stories of those on the front lines of this crisis. Instead of offering real help like treatment beds and detox facilities, this government's approach has been to hand out taxpayer-funded opioids under the banner of safe supply, with little focus on recovery or prevention. At the same time, Mr. Mazur has championed practical conservative solutions like the proposed Blue Seal program, which would allow qualified immigrants and Canadians trained abroad to work in our healthcare system faster. There are roughly 80,000 internationally educated health professionals in Canada currently blocked from serving because of red tape and licensing barriers, a failure that's costing lives and leaving rural hospitals understaffed. These are the kinds of common sense reforms we need to address the shortage of doctors, nurses, and specialists, especially in rural areas where recruitment and retention have been all uphill battle for years. I'm proud to have an MP who's standing up for Swan River, Western Manitoba, and all rural Canadians who want safer streets, better health care, and policies that actually work. And that's from Levi Cottingham. Now, head back and see what's next. Out of Helen's Kitchen, Thanksgiving and pumpkin pie. In Canada, the spirit of giving thanks goes back thousands of years to Indigenous traditions. First Nations communities celebrated harvests through feasts, dance, and ceremony. They gave thanks to the Great Spirit for their crops and game that they had harvested, preparing them for the long winter ahead. In 1578, explorer Martin Frobisher held what is considered the first European Thanksgiving celebration in Canada. Frobisher and his crew were searching for the Northwest Passage. The long journey had been plagued with many difficulties, including freak storms which scattered his 15 boats. When Frobisher recovered the boats on the shores of what is now Newfoundland, they held a service of communion and thanksgiving for their safe arrival. There was no turkey with trimmings, but instead a humble meal of ship's rations of salt beef, biscuits, and mushy peas. This is now accepted as the first Canadian Thanksgiving, 43 years before the first American Thanksgiving. What if Thanksgiving wasn't just a day, but a way of life? Be thankful. It's good for your brain, body, health, and everyone around you. Developing an attitude of gratitude is one of the simplest ways to improve your satisfaction with life. Rather than complain about the things you think you need or deserve, take a few moments to focus on all that you have. Count your blessings. Who and what I am most thankful for today and why. As you gather with family and friends, may your hearts be filled with love and grateful thanks for all your blessings. And she's included a pumpkin pie recipe and a pumpkin cream cheese pie recipe. Both are here in the paper. And Carberry to host Prairie Harvest Festival by Casper Warehan. And pictures is many youths and some dinosaurs enjoyed the many activities of the 2024 Homecoming Festival, now the Prairie Harvest Festival. While the name and structure of the event has changed, fun for people of all ages is anticipated once again for 2025. The Carberry community is gearing up to celebrate the harvest season. On Saturday, October 18th, the 2025 edition of the Prairie Harvest Festival, formerly Carberry Homecoming, will be hosted for all members of the public to enjoy. As the event date draws near, Lisa Dobbins-Waters, who spoke on behalf of the organizing committee, noted that everyone has been hard at work to prepare. All things considered, due to the circumstances of having to cancel the Homecoming Festival and rebranding the festival within a short period of time, our community has been working tirelessly to make this festival a success, said Dobbin-Waters. Dobbin-Waters shared that some changes to the event's format have also been made. For this event, we have tried to partner with businesses and farmers in the area for better locations and not having to shut down Main Street, Dobbin Waters explained. This is a town-wide festival, and it takes place throughout the town in numerous locations. Kicking off the day is a fall parade at 10:30 a.m. The parade will start near the East End service station on Ottawa Street, then go past the care home and retirement homes before heading down Main Street and ending up at the fire station. Some of the day's other activities also include a fall market in R.J. Waugh Elementary School's gym, noon to 4 p.m., tours of the museum and gingerbread house, a book reading and signing from Carberry author Letitia Berry, arm wrestling at the drop-in center starting at noon, and much more. Additional events and entertainment commencing at 5 p.m. and onward will also take place at the community center. The bar will also be open and a small selection of food available. Minors will be permitted until 9 p.m. A full schedule of the day's available events is available on the Prairie Harvest Festival's social media. People can expect to come and have a good time in a small rural community. We have worked hard to have something for everyone, said Dobbin Waters. Providing a final comment, Dobbin Waters shared a word of gratitude for the support of the festival has received. We'd like to thank the people of Carberry, the town of Carberry, the rural municipality of North Cyprus Langford, Chamber of Commerce, and all the businesses in the area who have contributed to make this day happen, and for trusting and believing in this committee to succeed in bringing this event to residents of Carberry and the surrounding areas. Dobbin Waters enthused. And coming from Minnedosa, a space that was built with you in mind. Heritage Co-op celebrates opening a remodeled grocery store in Minnedosa. And it's pictured the exterior of the recently revamped Heritage Co-op food store. And above, the ribbon cutting ceremony was a proud moment for the Minnedosa team, led by store manager Ryan Haney, who was joined by department managers, as well as Lori Paulin, food division manager, and Reg Clark. Left to right, Natalia Osuda, Helly Jeweler, Katharina Bugay, Alistair Kimball, Kurt Dowd, Lori Paulin, Ryan Haney, Reg Clark. The interior of the recently renovated Heritage Co-op store. Walking down the aisles of the Heritage Co-op food store in Minnedosa feels just a little bit different today. It feels a little more open, a little more airy, and a little more inviting. After months of renovations to the 120 Main Street South location, the new-look grocery store has been officially reintroduced to the community. Co-op management, employees, and a large number of local shoppers all gathered for a ribbon-cutting ceremony to commemorate the completion of the project on Thursday, October 2nd. Co-op operations manager Reg Clark informed the Banner and Press that this massive makeover allows for more space for customers to roam. Notable changes here include the placement of fresh commodities. We actually took produce from out from where the old deli area is now and moved it to an open space, accessible space close to the main entrance. We've opened it up and it offers a better, cleaner shopping experience, said Clark. We've added a pile of new products for just a better variety and to keep up with customer demand. As well, we've changed out the refrigeration and added an ice cream machine for ice cream cakes. Yeah, just a fresh, modern look. Clark said because they could not expand the building on the lot they occupy, they worked with the designers to ensure that every inch of the existing building was used to its maximum efficiency. He added, they feel as though they've accomplished that goal. Our mission has always been to provide top-notch facilities with high-quality products, expanded services, and a complete shopping experience for our members and customers, Clark noted. This store remains an anchor for the town of Minnedosa, and we're grateful for the ongoing support and enthusiasm we have received from the community. Liane de Velguer, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Heritage Co-op, was also on hand for the ribbon cutting. She said the preliminary talks on the upgrade in Minnedosa originally began back in 2019. This is something that has been in the works for a long time, and we're incredibly grateful to be able to share this day with the public, said de Velguer. It was incredibly important to us to get this project completed. The community of Minnedosa has been so supportive of the co-op throughout the years. The co-op executive wanted to have something there that best served them, a space that was built with them in mind. Following the ribbon-cutting ceremony, guests were welcomed into the store for prize draws, special sales, and samples from ice cream cake to curry to celebrate the event. As well, local supplier Grey Ridge Coffee offered tastings, while Nyland Farms showcased their locally made dog treats. Outside the building, the Minnedosa Fire Department hosted a fundraising barbecue, raising $1,083.50 in donations. And Science Fairs by Ken Waddell. Pictured Robin Forsman highlighted the importance of student science fairs at a recent Neepawa Rotary Club meeting. When Robin Forsman of Neepawa was a guest speaker at the Neepawa Rotary Club meeting, she hearkened back to her school days when she ventured her first entry into the local science fair. It wasn't really a good entry, she recalled. It was a bad example. But now, after teaching at Brookdale School for 10 years and having many years of experience with school science fairs at the local, regional, provincial, and national level, Forsman knows what it takes to have a good project, as she has seen her students win prizes at all levels. Forsman explained that students get to perform, report, and demonstrate their own research. She said science fairs offer so much more than just the classroom experience. Each year, Brookdale holds a grades 1 to 8 science fair. Winners go on to the regional Westman Science Fair, which is judged by independent judges, including people from Brandon University. There are 9 committee members, over 400 kids involved, and up to 100 judges. The students get tours of the university, lunch, and entertainment. There are 100 science fair regions across Canada. Forsman now serves nationally and is very high on obvious advantages of students participating in the science fair programs. And a big potato crop at Kelwood, as evidenced by the above photo, which shows over 9-inch potatoes. Harvey and Kim Boxall of Kelwood can grow some big potatoes. The 3 larger ones are a Murasaki, a variety of sweet potato, and the rounder one is a purple chef. They're a pretty good size. And you're invited to the 10th annual business startup event, What's the Big Idea? Everyone is welcome to attend. Business startup talks at 9 a.m., business idea pitch parlor at 1 p.m. And it's Thursday, October 16th, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Neepawa Legion. And for more information, call Marilyn at the Neepawa Economic Development, 204-476-7607, or edo@neepawa.ca. And there's a Chris Woods Christmas Hoedown coming to the Roxy. Tickets are $45 each, and they're available online or cash only at the Neepawa Banner Press. And I'm going to skip over that till later. And Murray Black inducted into Manitoba Football Hall of Fame, and pictured as former NACI coach Murray Black. And this is by Owen Devereaux. While Murray Black's football legacy was already established here in Neepawa, his contributions to the game are now forever enshrined across Manitoba. Black, a former coach of the Neepawa Tigers, was officially inducted into the Manitoba Football Hall of Fame on Thursday, September 25th. He is one of 8 individuals in one team who are part of the 2025 class. Murray's resume for this honor is extensive, having coached Tigers for 23 seasons. In that time, he earned 3 Rural Manitoba Football League Coach of the Year awards. As well, Black led the team to 7 championships, including a record 6 straight league titles, 1993 to 1998, and 30 consecutive wins. Under his leadership, the Neepawa Tigers also won 2 provincial titles. But beyond the wins, Black's tenure saw him use elements of the game to teach life lessons, inspiring players and fellow coaches alike. Even after retirement, he remained actively involved, mentoring others. His lasting impact was recognized with the MHSAA Frank L. McKinnon Award in 2005 for his outstanding dedication to high school sports in Manitoba. Murray Black is the second member of that legendary Tigers squad from the 1990s to be recognized, as fellow coach Lorne Lajamodier was added to the Football Hall of Fame in 2023. And Neepawa celebrates a pair of wins over the Winnipeg Blues. Talon Wallace scored for Neepawa just 31 seconds into their game against the Winnipeg Blues on Wednesday, October 1st. From there, Titans would be held off the scoreboard from there until late in overtime as Neepawa picked up a 2-1 victory. The Titans followed up on Sunday, October 5th in Winnipeg as they would blank the Blues 4-0. These results improved Neepawa's record to 3-4-0 on the year. And Curling for our community. Neepawa Gladstone Co-op raises funds for local food bank during holiday season. The Neepawa Gladstone Co-op is excited to bring back the Co-op Fund Spiel on November 7th, 2025 in support of Salvation Army Neepawa. This event will bring together community members for an exciting day of curling to raise funds for upgrades at the Salvation Army's cargo van. Amanda Nottingale, Community Ministries Director at Salvation Army Neepawa, says, as the need for our food bank continues to grow, and now with the addition of the McCreary Food Bank to our operations, the need for a reliable vehicle is more important than ever. Our current cargo van is coming close to needing to be retired, and we are proactively fundraising for a vehicle that will suit our expanding needs. We use the van to do food rescue 6 days a week, take supplies up to McCreary twice a month, and receive up to 3 pallets of food from Harvest Manitoba Depot and Brandon monthly. Ideally, our new vehicle will be refrigerated to further protect the cold chain of the food we distribute. Without a cargo van, our ability to supply our food bank with a variety of non-perishable items diminishes and would affect the amount and type of food available to our clients. The day welcomes experienced and beginner curlers alike and will include 3 games, prizes given away throughout the day, and pulled pork supper sponsored by High Life to follow. A canteen will be available during the day with funds going to Salvation Army Neepawa. Neepawa Curling Club will also host glow curling in the evening. Keith Babcock, produce manager at Neepawa Gladstone Co-op, an avid curler, says, we would like to thank the Neepawa Curling Club for donating the space so we can run this event. Curling has been growing over the years in the community and has been a great way to get people together. Neepawa Gladstone Co-op would like to thank the additional sponsors for supporting the day. Corteva, Bear, Adama, Brett Young, and High Life. Businesses and individuals are invited to register a 4-person team for $200. 100% of the registrations will go to the Neepawa Salvation Army Neepawa. To register a team, contact Ali Petrepka at Neepawa Gladstone Co-op Administration Office by calling 204-476-2328 or email marketing@neepawagladstonecoop.com. Spectators are welcome to watch during the day and cheer on their favorite team and enjoy lunch. Spectators can also join dinner for $10, with proceeds going to the Salvation Army Neepawa. And NACI football remains perfect on the season. The Neepawa Tigers are 5-0 on the season in the Rural Manitoba Football League after defeating the Park West Outlaws on Saturday, October 4th by the score of 55-48. Seth Minkus and Daxton Brock, Pixtured, were named players of the game. And one has 1 tackle, 2 carries, 41 rushing yards, 6 receptions, 74 receive yards, and 4 touchdowns. And the other 7 tackles and 4 hurries. And let's see what else we got. Neepawa Rotary fundraises to end polio. On Friday, October 3rd, the Neepawa Rotary Club held a fundraiser barbecue at the Neepawa Gladstone Co-op food store parking lot. The fundraiser was for End Polio Now. End Polio Now is an organization partnered with Rotary International with the mission to eliminate polio across the globe. Thanks to support received on this day, Neepawa's Rotary Club was able to raise $545 from food sales, an additional $265 in donations. In total, this is $810 raised for the initiative. And in the top photo, Neepawa Rotary members Gwen and Wayne Jacobson and Ron and Diane Nordstrom tended the barbecue and serving stations. And the bottom, seen here are just a few of the many patrons of the fundraising barbecue. And we got some more garden produce, fresh out of the garden with a twist. And this carrot was grown in the garden at the Lowen residence, 11 kilometers north of Neepawa. These tri-braided carrots were an unexpected arrival this growing season. The largest of these carrots weighed an impressive 392 grams. And we have a plethora of delights. And this is a photo by Ken Waddell. The Margaret Lawrence Home annual craft sale at Neepawa's Legion Hall on October 4th was packed with colorful wares of all kinds, from cakes to jams to many kinds of handmade crafts. The tables were laden with goods. Pictured here, Donna Freeman of Neepawa offered up one of the most colorful displays. Freeman specializes in felting and create just about every possible creature with her skilled hands. And the Beautiful Plains Foundation is having a giving challenge. It's participating in the Endow Manitoba Giving Challenge on November 10th to November 16th, 2025. During this time, all donations made to the Unrestricted Community Fund will be stretched. For every $5, it will be matched $1 each from the Winnipeg Foundation and the Manitoba government. The foundation office will be open during the challenge. Ways to donate during the Giving Challenge: in person by check at 487 Walker Avenue, by mail, but I wouldn't recommend going by mail right now because of the mail strike, or online via credit card at www.endowmb.org. And Huns Valley is offering a big thanks to everybody that sponsored their 140th anniversary. There was quite a few of sponsors. And now we'll go back to some of the other stories. Looking Back by Casper Warehan. 125 years ago, October 10th, 1900, Mecowin, King Brothers of Gladstone, plastered the church this week. The Christian Guardian thinks more men would become Christians if more Christians would become men. Perhaps the great lack of the church today is positiveness of character and influence. 100 years ago, a fresh shipment of Cohen's chocolates, maple buds, nut bars, and milk chocolate, just fresh from the factory at Van Sickles. 75 years ago, 1950, William G. Pollock, former mayor of Neepawa, marked his 90th birthday on Sunday, October 8th, at the home of his son and daughter-in-law, Mr. and Mrs. D.E. Pollock. Friends and relatives extended congratulations to Mr. Pollock. He retired as mayor in 1947 after serving 17 years in that office. No dissenting voice was raised against the proposed issuance of debentures to raise $60,000 for construction of a new fire hall, improvement to disposal plant, and engineering requirements when 50 persons heard the mayor and councillors review the past year at the annual public meeting held Friday in the courtroom of the town hall. 50 years ago, 1975. After more than 30 years, Neepawa once again became home for noted Canadian author Margaret Lawrence when residents of the town and the community opened their arms and their hearts to her Monday. Mrs. Lawrence, born Margaret Weems in Neepawa and raised here until she left home at the age of 18 to attend university in Winnipeg, was a guest of honor at a special Margaret Lawrence Day held in tribute to her contributions to Neepawa, Canada, and Canadian literature. Mrs. Lawrence said she had seen many changes in her tour of the town Monday afternoon, but the most notable one was the air of progressiveness and prosperity that the town has taken on. And 20 years ago, 2005, and pictured is former Neepawa Cub farmer elected to the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame. Mike Lewandowski, who was elected to the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in October of 2005. At the time, he was a two-time MVP award winner and had previously played for the Neepawa Cubs and Neepawa Farmers. Some areas around Neepawa were still without power Thursday morning after a heavy blanket of wet snow felled tree branches and downed power lines the day before. Erickson. Friends and family were remembering Erickson Mayor Mike Galetchuk and a devoted community man following his death September 19th. Galetchuk, 72, was elected mayor of the town in 2002. During his time in office, Lauren Makadensky said Galetchuk approved the town's infrastructure as well as its appearance. Neither snow nor rain nor sleet, not a blizzard in general, would stop the official opening of the town of Neepawa's new offices Wednesday afternoon. As part of the remodeling of the former Hamilton Square building, steps leading to the doorway have been replaced with a ramp for easier access. Manitoba's tough new anti-smoking laws withstood its first court challenge, but opponents say they have no intentions of giving up their fight. Mike Lewandowski should feel honored about his election to the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame. Lewandowski, who played senior baseball in Neepawa for the Cubs and the Farmers for 23 years, was one of the best players of his generation, and other generations too. Named to the Manitoba Senior Baseball League's 40th anniversary All-Star team, Lewandowski is one of a dozen individuals who will be inducted in the Hall as the class of 2005. And an ad, 33.33% discount. We do not purpose continuing our millinery department during our present season. Consequently, we are desirous of clearing out the balance of our millinery quickly and have decided to offer a straight discount of 33.33%. This presents a good opportunity to the ladies to secure features Feathers, tips, flowers, quills, ospreys, jet trimmings, wings, birds, chiffon, and gauze trimmings greatly below their regular values. That's from the Neepawa Trading Company in the October 10th, 1900 edition of the Neepawa Register. And in acknowledgement of fire prevention, we have pages honoring the volunteer fire departments in our area. And here's the Neepawa Fire Department. I'm going to try and read the names, but please forgive me. Neepawa: Jason Hartle, Jordan Hartle, Brad Wilson, Craig Unger, Mark Zeptic, Ty Capitco, Ronald Santos, Raymond O, Dan Zettler, Alan Gillis, Brody Martin, and missing Mike Spees, Terry Spees, Tim Spees, Dwayne Gardy, Rob Philipchuk, Aaron Vandenbush, Jared Philipchuk, Dennis Humany, Jack Woolman, Tyler Blondo, David Humany, Brad Bailey Gardy, Trevor Bennett, and Eve Gellis. That's a big fire department, and there's a lot of communities. Minnedosa: Troy Gregorish, Corey Parrott, Tyler Jacobson, Marty Moyer, Deputy Chief Perry Burgess, Nicholas Enns, Captain Jason Cooper, Alan Betteridge, Chief Dean Jordan, Captain Matt Saylor, Matt Cowell, Captain Joe Cowell, Joseph Warwick, Bill Kemp, Pat Dagg, Jake Bowishin, Jeff Kilbalky, and missing from the picture, Greg Kingdon, Brad Wenham, Jeremy Butler, and Scott Collin. And Westlake Gladstone: Chris Spees, Ryan McConnell, Mark Anderson, Blaine Houston, John Halashewski, Assistant Deputy, Lauren Hunt, Chief, Gary Gertson, Greg Emerson, Deputy Chief, Leighton Peters, Michael Ducomas, Mike Adams, Ian Belichka, and Dave Thiessen, Hansel Levs, Travis Woolman, Daniel Martin, Scott Emerson, Glenn Emerson, Joe Smith, and Derek Lawrence. And Alonza: Frank Chen, Kevin Chirpin, Travis Turco, Donald Toms, Fire Chief, Lucas Johnson, Ken Zalewski, Bev Asham, Ken Finbogson, Wiley Edwards, Tim Scott, Conrad Anderson, Doug Sanderson, Russell Sewell, Ken Sewell, Dean Cap, Dwayne Cawmotton, Ian Plett, Nelson Plett, and John Bigelow. And I'm just reading the names out because we got to honor these fighters. Plumas: Gordon Kautz, Armin Lack, Greg Smith, Eric Lack, Alex Kunselman, Tyler Shetler, Matt DeHolis, Chief, Riley DeHolis, Carter Shetler, Brandon Smith, Deputy Chief, Belly Rempel, Kevin Klatt, Keith Kontz, Assistant Chief, Nolan Ton, Ryland Denbo, Nathan Braun, Owen Weeb, and Tom Coates. And Arden: Brad Myers, Wanda Nemec, James Paramore, Leah Deere, Terry Bradley, Ray O, Damian Dempsey, Michael Weeb, Dave Baskerville, Richard Dempsey, Kevin Paramore, Chuck Tarrant, Don Unger, Marty Warner, and Justin Gingras. And Glenella: Gordon Wilson, Dakota Partridge, Harvey Weave, Colby McDonald, Joss McDonald, Jesse Kushner, Chris Smith, Braden Miller, Brent Miller, Justin Sawchuk, Donald McDonald, Fire Chief, Claire Presentes, Don Boxall, Kenny Scott, Shane Henton, Becca McDonald, Corey Hudenberg, and Gerhard Juskawak. McGregor: Chris Leckie, firefighter Stacy Nelson, Corey Dirksen, Steve Williams, Daryl Young, Justin Polowski, Rob Shetler, Clayton Taylorson, Darcy Bueller, Mike Hill, Trevor Keeler, Dustin Hildenbrand, Carl Enns, Evan Perkis, Glenn Perkis, Kelly Armstrong, Wendell Dirksen, Dalen Moore, Randall Boschman, Logan Buchert, Henry Dewick, Scott Miller, Connor Perkis, Adam Johansson, Jacob Weave, Eric Harding, Tyler Martins, and Darwin Dreiger. And Austin: Mitch Rogers, Peter Vallon, Isaac Mantle, Martin Zacharias, Landon Zacharias, Deputy Chief Rob Smart, Chief James Zacharias, Leo Zacharias, Matt Winters, Brenton Sawchuk, Jake Braun, Nick Sawatsky, Kirsten Zacharias, Jason Dick, Peter Lowen, Jesse Sawatsky, Wyatt Harder, Justin Sawatsky, Ben Key, Garrett Fair, Sam Rogers, Hannah Enns, Wyatt Smart, Kirsten Ronald, Seth Legault-Honkin, and Carson Zacharias. And Carberry: Chief Clyde McCallum, Deputy Chief Bart Witherspoon, Captain Mike Sudak, Captain Del Carrot, Inspector Steve Denton, firefighters Rick DeSotels, Jay Fryer, Jeremy Bates, Greg Sidor, Sam Roots, Billy Wright, Jerry Rossett, Taylor Leckie, Lance Burton, Jordan Pulasic, Chris Ryback, Warner Wright, Callie Sudik, Colby Weeb, Ian Lynch, Dustin McGregor, Leland Rempel, radio operators Chelsea Wright and Barb Memsies. And Laurier, Fire Chief Mike Verhaeg, Ken Rogers, Patrick Gamache, Joey Bond, Caitlin Assaley, Paul Pellier, Mark Pilcher, Darren Gamache, Ryan Gamache, Leo Assaley, Shane Patterson, Evan Cruz, Jean-Paul Pelcher, Jordan Isfil, and Ben Borchers. And St. Rose, Fire Chief Daryl Vandenbosch, Guy Panette, Justin Dupre, Caitlin Normandin, Mike McCarthy, Mark Brunel, Nicole Dupre, Noel Labelle, Tim Panette, Tyler Olofsson, James Klassen, Christy Klassen, Robert Lachowski, Justin Gamache, Cade Robinette, Leland Dupre, Evan Cruz, and Brayson Dupre, and Joey Bond. And Kelwood, Wendell Hopner, Gary Goosen, Paul French, Brent Smith, Earl Burton, Shane Weatherall, Evan Penner, Joel Weeb, Sierra Weeb, Aaron McCusick, Kuga, Lamont Goosen, Randall Friesen, Donovan Penner, Robert Burton, and Shelby Defoe. There's a lot of volunteer fire people in this community. You got to honor them. On and all, Randy Jennings, Pat Rousseau, Captain, Kevin Bakowicz, Captain, Sean Frey, Deputy Chief, Charles McMillan, Fire Chief, Wayne Horn, Deputy Chief, Darcy Yakamishin, Liam Bakowicz, Les Campbell, Shannon Landels, Perry O, Guy Borgstrom, Tim Town, Murray Weeb, Jacob Willman, Bob Reside, Scott Breyer, Rob Collin, Candace McMacken, Scott Lavich, Kelsey Connor, and Christian Chombley. And Eden, Jason Reimer, Jordan Klassen, Travis Klassen, Dennis Fair, Neil Friesen, Caleb Penner, Eric Lowen, Les Chernenko, Graydon Friesen, Sparky, Ben Bruder, Eric Wogelmuth, Cam Friesen, Brian Friesen, Chief, Andrew Martins, Melvin Thiessen, Deputy Chief, William Shepper, and Kenny Wagler. And Clan William Erickson. Canyon Flick, Deputy Chief Kerry Butler, Captain Larry Safronic, Fire Chief Jason Braschuk, Jim Avram, Sean Oakley, Randy Brandt, Trevor Prachinchuk, Captain Donnie Vaughn, Louis Malik, Michael Kern, Jamie McManus, Deputy Chief Vaughn Alberg, Evan Hasselstrom, Danielle Bassato, Danielle Speckert, Joey Robinson, and Jeremy Platt. So let's all give a round of applause for the volunteer firemen. And finally, as always with me, NACTV. Highlights of the week. Coffee Chap Manitoba Elks Presidential Visit, October 13th at 9:55 p.m., October 15th at 3:30 p.m., October 18th at 10:45 a.m. Tangled Threads Quilt Show, October 13th at 4:45 p.m., October 14th at 10:45 a.m., and October 17th at 9:15 p.m. Margaret Lawrence Home Craft Sale, October 14th at 8:30 p.m., October 16th at 1:15 p.m., and October 18th at 11:15 a.m. And with bingo, Bonanza over 22,000, Blackout over 12,000, and Tunipot over 200. And we still need a bingo caller. And as always, with every organization in town, we need volunteers. You don't have to do much. Just, put together a bingo package, offer to film something, interview somebody, read the news. Volunteers or donations are be very, very welcome. And that concludes the reading of the Neepawa Banner and Press for Friday, October 10th, 2025. I hope you enjoyed it.